Welcome back to Insight. We've been discussing accusations that Hollywood has a problem with so-called whitewashing, casting white actors in non-white roles. One of the reasons it happened is star power, the need to sign up the biggest names, no matter how suitable for a particular role, because they will draw the biggest box office. Insight's Liam Desborough has been finding out who's currently top of the earnings league table.
3 Hollywood veterans maintained their position as some of cinema's highest paid in 2016. Johnny Depp and Tom Cruise can thank big franchises like Mission Impossible and Pirates of the Caribbean for their hefty paychecks. But Matt Damon owes much of his handsome salary to US-Chinese production The Great Wall. And Damon isn't the only one to see success outside of the US. Jackie Chan ranks as Hollywood's second highest paid actor of 2016, despite rarely appearing in big US blockbusters. Chan owes his recent incomes to his Chinese productions. And Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson banked an impressive $64.5 million last year. The actor's income has been rising steadily since signing on to the ongoing Fast and Furious franchise. These may be Hollywood's best paid, but they aren't necessarily the best value for money. Here are the actors who bank more than their fee. Vin Diesel returns $32 in revenue for every dollar he earns, thanks in no small part to the success of his Fast and Furious franchise. Mila Kunis was a good investment in 2016, despite her box office flop, Jupiter Ascending. Chris Pratt's success, both as part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and in Jurassic World, have propelled him to international stardom. But his earlier contract agreements keep his salary low, making him a cost-effective box office draw. And Chris Evans tops the list, returning a staggering $135.80 for each dollar paid. His returns ratio is high, thanks to his Marvel outings regularly grossing more than $1 billion.
Well, still with us in the Insight studio is Akua Jamphi, the founder and director of the British Blacklist, an online global portal showcasing black British talent, and the film critic Richard Fitzwilliams. It's extraordinary then, Richard. What studios really want is to pay a few dollars and get the maximum return. So they'll be happy with those performers, won't they?
They'll be absolutely delighted with those, and I have to say I wouldn't complain in one sense, and that is, what would Mission Impossible be without Tom Cruise? It wouldn't be the same, nobody would claim it would be. There's little doubt he'll remain with the franchise, as others from the Fast and Furious franchises to Iron Man. I mean, these stars identified synonymous with certain things, certain characteristics. They have their fans, and they're an enormous draw. But also, we should remember the independent films, which are a very, very important part of Hollywood. And also, there's the halfway house, of course. There's the blockbusters, which we're always going to get. There's the independents, which we've got much more of. And if you look at the Oscars in the last decade or so, find far more of them mentioned. And then there's the sort of middling way, the comedies and dramas. A comedy with Melissa McCarthy, for example, just as a comedy with Mae West in the 1930s. Far more chance of making a lot of money. So overall, there's much to be said for the system. The problem, I think, is when you get to too many blockbusters and too many sci-fi movies.
Well, what do you see the trends as here? Isn't it the rise of the independent film?
I think they're pushing...
Doing quite well,
They're doing quite well. I think from a black filmmaker's perspective, it's still hard, but there are a few coming out. I mean, Debbie Tucker-Green, she's a renowned playwright. She had Second Coming, that starred Idris Elba. It was very quiet in the industry, but it was recognised at the BAFTAs in a few categories, but it was very quiet. There's something to do with marketing, there's something to do with the sell, there's something to do with investment and distribution and all those type of things that go into those conversations. But independent films are giving validity to organisations to say, look, we are trying, and we are not just all about the big glitzy stuff. It's about money. The industry is about making money. Independent films are important. They're the ones where the risk is taken to tell broader stories and where you're guaranteed to see different people on screen and different narratives.
But the economy is mixed like never before, isn't it? With the rise of the miniseries and the Netflix factor, and how the movie and the television series for actors and writers is really offering new opportunities.
It's offering new opportunities. Some of those opportunities are absolutely fascinating, but your mention of Netflix leads me at least to be extremely worried about one thing. For me, the movie experience is, and I know for Kurt too, seeing a movie on the big screen primarily.
Yes.
I do accept, of course, so many prefer to see it on demand, and also you see it in your home. You can stream it often without the...
But is that why the blockbuster stays? Because the blockbuster kind of has to be seen in a huge cinema with the sound thundering away.
Hopefully will
A drama, a more considered piece, lends itself perhaps more to the home, do you think?
It's so hard to read an audience, but when we're talking about star power, someone like Mahershala Ali, he was recognised from Netflix series House of Cards and then Luke Cage, and then he's cast in Moonlight, and then he wins the award, and his star power was like a steady, slow burner. So I don't know now if he could lead a film and everyone's going to rush out. You can't tell. Someone like Tom Cruise, he's tried and tested, and we know him. So I'm not sure if it's him or the story that leads it, and with Marvel, is it the actors or is it the actual the fact that we've got so many Marvel fans that drive this whole franchise? They wouldn't really care who was in position, they'd still turn up. But you need this. I think the movie-going experience is something that you can't match at home.
For me, the whole
couch.
comic thing is getting mind-bogglingly complicated. I've lost track of who's supposed to be fighting whom, and they keep mashing and merging the stories.
But this, in fact, stories, is there a story in it, you could ask, but then do people want a story, or do they want explosions? But I think it's so interesting, the point you were making about the independents, because for me, there's so much in those films, Sundance particularly, a birth of so much talent, and talent which sometimes goes on to become very, very significant when it comes to earning power.
They need to work hand in hand, I think. The indies can inform new talent, as it were, and then if they want to sell out, as they call it, and go commercial and go all glitzy and go and get them billions of bucks. This is how the industry works together. But we definitely, I like being able to watch things on Netflix because accessibility is easy and you get to see a broader range of stories.
But
I don't want to lose the cinema experience.
Yes, this is the problem as to how early we should have streaming, because very often certain cinema chains, I mean, are fighting it in the States, but there is a lot of concession here. The fact that there is the demand at home, it's going to be given into the fight against it. I mean, some top film directors, too, don't seem to mind. Darren Aronofsky has said that it doesn't matter if you see a film on an iPhone, it's still his film. I don't personally agree, but...
No.
It's the money.
You've still got people going through the door. They're still getting the box office receipts, as they call them.
And they're increasing.
And so they're increasing.
With the Chinese market,
cinema
too.
has still got some life left in it yet.
Absolutely.
Let's leave it at that point. Thank you both very much indeed. And that's all from me for the moment. I'm Martin Stanford. That was Inside.